All right, and we are live. Hey guys. Got a little background noise today. We were having some technical difficulties, so we apologize for being late, but welcome. We've got the Rudee Maniacs here, Team Go Green. My name's Alexis. I'm with Rudee Tours.
And I'm Christina. I'm with Eco Maniac Company. And joining us today, we have our special guest. And I know if you've listened to any of our talks, you've heard this name in the flesh. It's Kathy O'Hara, one of my favorite people in the whole world. She's here to help us through a talk about citizen science. And Kathy, would you mind telling us a little bit about your background and what you've been up to?
Yeah, sure. So I am a scientist, but most of my work has been working with citizens. I worked with the Ocean Conservancy for a long time and worked on the International Coastal Cleanup, which is probably one of the biggest citizen science projects in the world. I've also worked with the aquarium, and I'm a scuba diver, so that's what I'm going to talk about today, about citizen science and scuba divers.
All right. Thank you so much for being here today, Kathy. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. I was going to wear my mask.
Get in the mood, right?
It'd be funny.
I feel more comfortable behind it, actually. So, oh
well. So, Alexis, would you mind, how good is your knowledge of what citizen science actually is?
Well, basically, my understanding is it's science that anyone can participate in and that you can do from pretty much anywhere. It's something that when I was introduced to the term, I was probably, I don't know, maybe in high school, and we were able to participate with research from around the world, from our small town, from where we were. So it doesn't take a lot of expertise with it. It makes science a little bit more accessible to everyone, which I think is actually really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I put the definition of it up here just so people could see what it's all about. And when we were putting this talk together, I had no idea how many citizen science projects there are out there and how fun some of them look. And I am super excited about counting penguins. We're going to get to that. So yeah, basically citizen science is a science that pretty much anyone can do. You can volunteer, find the thing that interests you the most in science and look it up. You can find programs from all over the world, and we will post lots of links after this talk. And the first one that I wanted to, there we go. First one that I wanted to bring up, because we actually talked about this last week. So if you were with us last week, you saw this slide already. But this is actually a citizen science project. The Virginia balloon study, and then there's another balloon debris study out in Michigan. And basically it's asking citizen scientists to report sightings of balloon litter. And so this is just one example of one of those things that you could easily do. If you find a balloon on the beach or in a tree, or you see one hanging off the power line, if you're in Virginia, you go to virginiaballoonstudy.org. If you're in Michigan, or pretty much the Michigan one, it looks like it'll collect data from anywhere around the world. There's data points all over the globe if you look at their map. I know they're focused on the Great Lakes, but hey, at least you can report it. And the Virginia balloon study is actually what inspired or helped to inspire Kathy and my statewide balloon study. So when we have citizen scientists reporting these numbers and we see that there's actually some significant numbers coming in, it can inspire further research and further projects. So anyone else want to add to this slide here? Anyone else have anything to say?
Yeah, I just want to add, we have dive boats now going out and recording the balloons that they find on the way in and out off of Virginia.
Awesome.
Kathy, are you guys reporting those anywhere in particular? Is that something that you can do from anywhere if you're on a dive boat or any boat?
Well, actually, the dive boats have tips that I prepared for them, and they're recording it on Galaxy. So it's up to me now to enter it into this database. But it's going to be
Okay.
really amazing. And even divers are going to be trying. I mean, I've found balloons underwater, so we're asking divers to do it too.
That's awesome.
So, these are some fun apps if you're one of those people that likes to pick up litter. And of course, I'd like to remind everyone that if you are like me and you like to pick up litter, right now we're in the middle of a pandemic in which you should not pick up litter without proper protective gear. So if you are going to go to the beach or just do a neighborhood cleanup, make sure you're wearing gloves, don't touch your face, all that kind of thing. And then if you are using these apps, after you're picking up litter, make sure you clean your phone, just be super careful right now. So Kathy had mentioned that the International Coastal Cleanup that she is responsible for starting. And the International Coastal Cleanup is a data collection project. People from all over the world go and do beach cleanups and they record data. And for most of that time, this data was collected on cards. It's probably one of the biggest citizen science, single day projects around. But the Ocean Conservancy turned that data card into an app. So now instead of using all the paper, you can collect data on the Clean Swell app for the International Coastal Cleanup. And instead of just doing it in the month of September, you can now collect data for the International Coastal Cleanup year-round. The NOAA Marine Debris Tracker is similar. Both of these have websites. I think you can go back and look and see like maps because it records your GPS coordinates of where you've been picking up trash and what kinds of trash and how much trash and all that fun stuff. If you're a total nerd, you want to go back and look at your data, you can do that. And Literati is another fun app for picking up trash. What Literati does is it actually wants you to tag companies that might have, like if you find a bottle of a soda, you would take a picture of that bottle and then you would tag that soda maker company. So it kind of goes one step further in recording data on where the trash is kind of originating from, I guess would be the best way to put it. So these are 3 great apps for those of us who like to pick up trash and know how much trash we picked up and want to be citizen science and contribute to that data. That's all I have to say about this slide. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
I don't, other than I really like the name Literati. I think that's cool.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, they're on I think they're on Instagram too, so okay. That's a fun one. I've been using that one for a while. Let's see. Kathy, this is all you. This is why we're so happy to have you here today, because I'm excited to hear about this project.
Okay. Well, I'm not the expert that you all are, so I had to take down some notes. I'm going to look at my notes every once in a while, but I think we are so lucky that we live on the ocean planet. I mean, basically, we live on a planet that's 70% ocean. And what's really amazing about that is that 80% of it is still unexplored. So when I try to explain percentages to kids, I try to say it in terms of buckets. So imagine we have 100 ginormous buckets, and we scoop everything out of the ocean and put them into those buckets. 80 of those ginormous buckets we know nothing about. We know nothing. So as a marine scientist, I think that's really cool. I mean, to be able to discover, discoveries are being made all the time in the ocean. But it's also really, really scary because we don't know the extent of the problems that we're causing. So ocean exploration is really involved and expensive. And that's where scuba divers come in, because we have skill, we have equipment that's pretty expensive, and we also have the passion. Divers are passionate about protecting the ocean. So many research institutions actually are starting citizen science programs or have actually been going on for a while that involve divers, and they're all over the world. And these projects include things like underwater cleanup, coral monitoring, and even taking photographs of specific species underwater. Our divers at Lynn Haven Dive Shop, we go to Cozumel, Mexico, which isn't a bad thing at all. I wish I was there now. And we participate in a whale shark survey. And a lot of our divers are photographers, and they're always looking for great excuses to take pictures. And one of the things this project does is they ask divers to take pictures of the left-hand side of a whale shark right behind the gills. And if they get a good picture, that's actually a fingerprint, like a fingerprint for that individual whale shark. And we've been submitting those pictures to the database where the pictures are analyzed by researchers, and they can either match it to existing pictures or assign a new name and number to a new whale shark that they just discovered. So that's really cool. And the North Carolina Aquarium actually does a similar project. It's called Spot a Shark. And they're looking at sandpiper sharks right out here in our ocean, right off our beach. So some of the other types of projects involve more detailed data collection. And one of my favorites is fish count. So we go out into the ocean and we tell all the fish to hold still, and then we count them. And we also not just count like masses, but we count individual species and how many there are. So it really doesn't work that way because fish will never hold still. But here in Virginia, we do it on an annual basis, and we go out to the Chesapeake Light Tower. The picture up here in the left-hand side, that's one of our fish count groups that did this annual count. We go out to the Chesapeake Light Tower, which is, Alexis, is it like 18 miles offshore?
I think it's, is it 13?
11?
I'm thinking 13. We're all tossing out different numbers.
It depends on where you're coming from.
But we go, so we go out there, and it's summer, but it's 52 degrees on the bottom. But despite that, we have recorded hundreds of fish, and that includes one really not so big, but very curious tiger shark. And that was awesome. I see that out. So this information is submitted to an organization that's called REEF, and they're the REEF Environmental Education Foundation, and they have a global database, and they collect surveys from divers all over the world. They have more than 250,000 individual surveys by divers, citizens. So it's such a cool program. And what's really cool about that program is that they offer fish ID training to volunteers, and they give you certifications. So like I'm a level 4. I was 1 point away from a level 5, but it's like you take tests. And they also make this database available to anybody. So it's just amazing information. And then so that right there in that corner, that is me using what we use to count fish. So this, I don't know if you can see it, but this is the data sheet. Those are all individual species that are listed. And it's waterproof paper. We use our little pencils and we clip it to our gear and we count. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool project. And then the next slide.
Hint, hint.
Is it coming? Yeah, cool. So this project too is really awesome. Recently, our Virginia divers went down to Florida. Divers get to go to kind of nice places. And we helped create a pilot project with Loggerhead Marine Life Center to monitor sea turtle human interaction. And most of the information about sea turtles and human interactions is from either stranded turtles or dead turtles, right, Christina?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Loggerhead Marine Life Center wanted to see if divers could actually determine, collect information on sea turtles that actually survive these things, like boat strikes or entanglement in fishing gear. So our divers went down there, and we used a new data form that's different than this to record information and take pictures of any of the turtles that we saw. And unfortunately, several of the turtles that we saw had shell damage. A lot of them had missing flippers, but not sure that could have been from natural causes. One green turtle swam by, and it actually had a hook embedded in its flipper with fishing line trailing behind it. And cool thing is, though, we also saw one hawksbill, and that turtle had a tag on its flipper. And because we had cameras, we were able to take a picture of that tag. And we were really careful not to not to harass the turtles and the whales and all. But we could zoom in on that picture, and we actually got the number from that tag. So that's information we can also collect. And that information was also submitted to TURT, which is Turtles Uniting Researchers and Tourists, and they maintain a global database on scuba divers reporting sea turtles. But they also have an app, so you can be anywhere in the world, and you can use that app, which I guess is called offline. I'm not an app person, but so there are lots of opportunities for citizen science for divers. There's also opportunities for snorkelers. There's coral farming. There's actually a project over here on the eastern shore, and if you snorkel, you can help collect eelgrass seeds. They harvest them in the spring, and then they release them to grow more eelgrass. So that's right here. And finally, I just want to point out that once we get a diver interested in a citizen science project, they're not only a scientist, but they become an educator and an advocate. And the picture that's here, that's Lindsay, the owner of Lynn Haven Dive Shop, and she's explaining to just another diver that happened to be on the boat about our project, and teaching them how to identify species. And by the time, there were a lot of divers on that boat, and by the time we left, every single one of them, and the captain and the crew, all knew a lot more about sea turtles than they probably ever wanted to know, but we gave them all that information. So it was really cool. So if you're a diver, we'd love to have you come and join us. And if you're not a diver, we really, you got to get in the water. It's amazing.
I will snorkel.
You can snorkel. That would be cool. No, we need to. There's lots that snorkelers can do.
Yeah, Kathy, I think there's actually a Facebook group called Citizen Scientists of the Ocean. I found, or somebody I think invited me to join it recently, and there's a lot of information about dive opportunities, citizen science opportunities for divers. So definitely a lot of cool stuff going on underwater.
Yeah, there's a lot of resources too. Like this is a fish ID book. This one is for tropical Pacific. I have it for just about every single ocean, and when I go to those places, I bring this book. It's got like all the different pictures of the fish and characteristics. It weighs about 10 pounds, so when you can only bring 50 pounds in a bag, that's kind of tough. And then also, I just wanted to show you, this is a computer. Divers dive with computers. Most every diver does now. And this tells you about how much air, how much longer you can stay underwater. But it also gives you information on temperature, and it gives you information on depth and time. So for a lot of this research, I mean, we wear this all the time. And when we do these citizen science projects, we have some pretty detailed information that we can provide with like sightings.
Awesome.
Cool.
So
Thank you so much.
I'm going to put my mask back on.
That's funny.
Alexis, this one is all you.
All right. So if folks have been out with us, they've heard us talk about photo identification of a lot of different things. That's something that we participate in on all of our trips. So whale photo identification, bottlenose dolphin photo identification, seals, pretty much anything that we see, we try to photo ID it. But citizen science is really picking up, particularly with whale photo ID. There are a lot of awesome platforms out there where folks can submit their pictures, submit their data. It's going to be reviewed by scientists, and they can use it to pretty much track the migration of these animals. Happy Whale is something that Ted Cheeseman started over primarily on the Pacific coast, but it's been picking up popularity. It's now international. So humpbacks are the most common species that are featured there, but several other types as well. And there are a lot of other platforms out there in addition to Happy Whale. Obis Sea Maps has tons of maps that are out there, sightings data and things of that nature that folks can just go on and explore and check it out. What I think is really cool with this is it's kind of uniting folks from all around the world with sightings. Again, we're learning more about the patterns of the animals, but you have researchers that are using it. You have folks who are just very interested in whales that may be submitting their data and using it as well. And then you have companies and whale watches that use that information also. So if folks are interested in photo ID, kind of the first thing I would suggest for whales and dolphins is contact your local eco tour place. We have our own internal catalog, and then we data share with a lot of other agencies in addition to putting some of this stuff online. So that's kind of my recommendation. Start local and see how far you can stretch to go global.
Cool. And yeah. I don't think I saw any whales this year. I'm so disappointed, but I know you guys saw tons of them this year.
We did. It was a really great season for sightings. Definitely looking forward to getting back out there on the water and seeing some familiar fins with those dolphins.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
And I think the programs that are used for identifying the whale tails is the same thing that's used for whale sharks and for the sand tigers and also manta rays. A lot of animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. For all you birders out there.
Yay!
Yeah, Ebert. I heard this one is actually really cool, and it's a Cornell Lab ornithology app. And if you're not good at identifying birds, but you are interested in helping with this project, I think this app is pretty good at educating you. Justin agreed. Alexis, what do you know about this app?
Ebert is awesome. It's something that I've participated in for now 7 years, I believe. Is that right, Justin? Justin and I kind of kicked this off together, and we'll tag team our trips. Sorry, I've got radio noise, y'all. But we'll kind of tag team sightings out there. And what I think is really neat about Ebert is you don't have to be anywhere specific in order to have a sighting or to record the information. You can be at home. You can look outside your window and record what you're seeing with that. So I think that that's definitely kind of a benefit for it. They have all kinds of sightings information. You can submit pictures. As you mentioned, they can help you ID the birds that you're seeing. You can track your list. You can see what trends you're seeing from year to year. And I think what's really cool about this is the maps and the data that come out of it. For example, some of the data that we were able to collect, and I think I've referenced this in another chat, actually helped to get the maps changed for razorbills, which are a really cute little bird that we see during the winter time. It was thought to be more of a rare sighting, and because of the information that we were able to provide, they were able to establish a baseline for that and updated their maps just from something that we were able to gather. So I think that that's really cool. I haven't been a huge birder for long, but the more I'm into this, definitely the bigger bird nerd I'm becoming. So I encourage folks, even if you're not comfortable with it, jump in. You'll know some of the birds, and then you'll be amazed at the variety that you see and what you can learn from that.
Kathy, you see a lot of birds out there. Are you going to try this one?
I'm looking at them right now. We actually have eagles in our backyard these days.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really awesome. You call yourself a bird nerd? Because we're fish geeks. That's what we call ourselves.
Very good.
I'm proud of it.
Being a nerd is good.
Yeah.
Being a nerd is really good. So I think I'm more of a turtle nerd than a bird nerd. So I'll take this one. So the Virginia Herpetological Society is looking for reports of box turtles and spadefoot. Oh my gosh, are they toads or frogs? I think they're toads. Yeah. Oh, it's right there. Spadefoot toads. Okay.
Toads.
Yeah. See, I'm a turtle person. So my house here actually backs up to the woods, and occasionally I'll turn and look, and there'll be a box turtle hanging out. So I'll run out and take a photograph of him and go to this website and report him or her. And so that's what the box turtle reporting is all about. And it's a project to help track populations of these box turtles, which are a species of concern. And I think the spadefoot toad is actually pretty rare, so they're really wanting to get reported sightings. If you go to the website, there's probably some identification help, especially with that toad. But yeah, so if you see a box turtle, snap a picture. Don't touch it if you don't have to. Just grab a picture. Notice the color of its eyes, because I think the color of the eyes can determine whether or not it's a male or female. And then go to vaherpsociety.com and report that little bugger. They're so cute. Yeah. And if you do find one on the road, notice which way the turtle is traveling and keep him going in that direction. Just help him across the road and let him be on his way. These turtles, even rehabbers need to know, like if you bring in a turtle for rehab, if it's been hit by a car or something like that, they need to go back exactly where they came from, because they are very dedicated to their lives where they live. So that's a little tidbit of info on the box turtle. You guys have any more for this one?
We have them in our backyard too. So, yeah. And we see the same ones, which is really cool. I mean, I kind of know them by now. So they do have their little home ranges.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen this one before?
I haven't, but I've been checking it out because I'm obsessed with ladybugs. So definitely, I think that this will be one that got me, that I'll be participating in now. For the last 2 years, I've released 3,000 ladybugs into my garden.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Telephone call.
Welcome back. But anyway, yeah, I thought this was really interesting, and I wasn't aware of the concern for our native ladybugs. So this definitely brought a lot of awareness to that.
Yeah, I didn't know there was so many different types of ladybug.
Wow.
But yeah, so I think this is similar to the box turtle reporting. If you see a ladybug, you can photograph it and send in your sighting. The Lost Ladybug Project. I guess they're particularly interested in the 9-spotted ladybug.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Huh.
So yeah, if you get them on your finger and you count the spots, and it's got 9.
Report it.
A ladybug. All right. This one's kind of interesting. Alexis, you know a lot about this. Is the King Tide project, right?
Not really, but I did research it a little bit for this. So for the King Tide project, the highest king tide was in November 5th of 2017, which I thought was really neat. And here locally, there is the project that encourages local classes to participate in flood mapping. So basically trying to build a more resilient community to any flooding that's coming through. What I found was interesting with that is it's open to any class in Hampton Roads in general. The students actually get to participate with this, so they'll conduct measurements, they create a presentation on a recommended or related project to whatever's happening at that time, and then they sign a pledge to create a community that's going to be a little bit more resilient to the flooding. And I think that a couple of the schools that I've spoken with that are participating in this, they absolutely loved it. The kids really enjoyed getting in there. And of course, the kids are going to be the ones that are helping to spread the word and educate others. So I thought that was, a really cool thing that I didn't know as much about that we have in our area that I probably should.
Kathy, have you ever used this app, the King Tide or the flooding?
No, I'm starting to feel like I only know about trash and things underwater.
I know, I'm the same way. Trash and turtles.
And balloons.
And now our special guest from last week, Katie from Clean Virginia Waterways, pointed this one out to us. And I went on the website to check this out, and I had to walk away because I could see how this could become incredibly addictive. So this organization has just hundreds and hundreds of pictures of penguins, or thousands of pictures of penguins from like 100 different sites. And so you have to go on there and literally like count the penguins. You tag the penguins, and it's helping them. They have so much data that they don't have the manpower to analyze it. So this is a way that you can help these scientists look at penguin populations. And I feel like when I do go on there, it's going to be like one of those addictive video games where you're just like, oh, penguin, 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 not a penguin. So I'm excited to try this one out. I didn't put the link on here. I believe it's on the event page, and we'll put it in the comments as well. They had a bunch of different projects on that website, but I don't know. Penguins are kind of fun and goofy. All right.
Yeah, collecting data is really great, but somebody does have to enter it and analyze it, and sometimes that becomes a real burden for a lot of these organizations that are research and don't have the money to do it anyway. But that's why it's really great when citizens can collect the information and enter it into like websites, which a lot of the dive projects enable divers to do.
Yeah, I think so. Katie had pointed out that there's two different kinds of citizen science projects. There's the ones where you help collect the data, and there's the ones where you help to analyze the data. And it's true, even with our little balloon study, it was hard to go back because you have to interpret and just, organize it. And especially when you're a nonprofit or you don't have funding, it can definitely become very overwhelming. So yay, citizen science.
Yes, definitely.
Frogs! More frogs! Oh no, I'm sorry, those were toads. These are frogs. I guess it's frog watch both toads and frogs?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I know the aquarium and I believe the Virginia Zoo were both going to have trainings this year. I'm sure they've been postponed for Frog Watch, but this is a Association of Zoos and Aquariums project. So there's aquariums and zoos all over the country that are giving these trainings so that you can go outside for a specific period of time and listen. You don't have to hunt down the frogs. You just have to listen in the evenings and try to, I guess they all have different sounds and tones and you learn those and then you can identify them through their chatter. So you guys have either of you participated in this program?
I haven't. No, but I was with our background at the aquarium, definitely was familiar with the project and the trainings. I think that they did end up having a virtual training this year. So I think most of the organizations try to kind of move towards that sort of thing so that folks can still collect the information. But I was just laughing at the picture here. I like that with the butterfly on his face.
I needed a picture. Yeah, I mean, there's so many, while we're in quarantine or under stay-at-home orders, so many of these projects we can do. You can do with the kids, or, you know, bird nerds, frog nerds, turtle nerds, whatever, and still contribute to science, even while we're kind of stuck at home in place. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to bring up this subject is there's still a lot going on, and you can still participate and stay safe at home. Yeah. All right. You guys have anything to add? I think this is our last. It is.
Turtle.
Hello. I have to. So I gave Katie, Clean Virginia Waterways, some credit. She did help us with these slides. Unfortunately, she also, or she was going to join us also, but she had a conflict. Anyway, I don't know. Citizen science. Anything else you guys want to add?
I don't think so.
No.
No, guess not.
No. Kathy, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna, when things go back to semi-normal, or when we can hop on a boat and dive under the water, we're coming to you. I want to go count some fish.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we definitely appreciate you joining in. Kathy, it was a pleasure as always. I love your passion, and you're very entertaining. So we definitely really appreciate you taking the time to join us and for joining us every week. We had a couple of comments from folks. Worth mentioning is iNaturalist. Yes, that's a great app that's out there. And what I think is really neat with that particular one is you can submit a photo if you're seeing something and you don't know what it is or you want confirmation, and they pretty much ID it right there on the spot. So thank you, Kathy. That's actually a great thing that we'll need to make sure we include down below too. So if you've joined us today, like, comment so that you can be eligible for the prize. It's going to be sponsored by Rudee Tours. I haven't decided exactly what it is yet, but I promise it will be something spectacular. So again, like or comment on the live feed to make sure that you can be eligible for that. Anything else, ladies?
Go out there and do some science.
Yeah.
Let's go diving.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and sign off. As they said, go out there and do a little bit of science, collect that data that we all love. We appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you next week. Same time, same place, Wednesday, 2 o'clock.
Bye.